Let's see. So first thing is to make sure that we are right way up. Facebook got a little wacky yesterday and last time. Donna. So Donna, here's the book that I'll be using. And I think it's right way around for you. Is this right way around, YouTube? Hi, Elle. Hi, John. So we'll let everybody hop back on. And, oh, right way up on Facebook. Awesome. This sequence is important. This work that we're doing this month is important because of where we are in time. And where we are in time is this moment where we have all had to stop our ordinary work lives and shelter at home. And even as Adam continues to go back and forth to the hospital, you know, he's still going to work, but his work has changed. And so we have created disruption, but in that disruption is the opportunity to see how was it before? And do we want to maintain what we were doing before? And how deep what we were doing before is ingrained within us, right? And so I'm just going to read to you a little bit of chapter 5 of the Untethered Soul. And I had started it at the beginning of the week, but I think I will come back again and do it again here. Consciousness is one of the great mysteries of life, and inner energy is another. It's actually a shame how little attention the Western world pays to the laws of inner energy. We study the energy outside, we give great value to energy resources, but we ignore the energy within. People go about their lives thinking, feeling, and acting without the understanding of what makes these activities take place. The truth is, every movement of your body, every emotion you have, every thought that passes through your mind is an expenditure of energy. And just as that happens outside in the physical world requires energy, everything that happens inside requires an expenditure of energy. For example, if you concentrate on a thought and another thought interferes, you will have to assert an opposing force to fight the interfering thought. That requires energy, and it can wear you out. Likewise, if you have a thought that you're trying to hold in your mind, but it keeps drifting off, you'll have to willfully concentrate to bring it back. When you do this, you're actually sending more energy to the thought in order to hold it in a given place. You also assert energy to deal with your emotions. If you have an emotion you don't like and it's interfering with what you're doing, you put it aside. You do this almost instinctively so that the unwanted emotion doesn't come up and disturb you. But each one of these acts is an expenditure of energy. Creating thoughts, holding thoughts, recalling thoughts, generating emotions, controlling emotions, disciplining powerful inner drives, all this requires a tremendous expenditure of energy. And the question is, where does the energy come from? Why is the energy there sometimes, and at other times you feel completely drained? Have you noticed that when you're mentally and emotionally drained, food doesn't help? Conversely, if you look at the times in your life when you were in love, when you were excited, when you were inspired, you're so full of energy, you don't even want to eat, right? This energy that we're discussing does not come from the calories that your body burns from food. There's a source of energy you can draw upon from inside, and it is distinct from the outer energy source. So a great way to think about this is if you chose in your mind one thing between your keys, your wallet, and your phone, which of those is most important to you, right? It's like another limb or another child. And you misplace it. Somewhere between the car, the bus, the train, the house, you turn towards the thing you're accustomed to having in its accustomed place, and it's not there. And you spend some time seeking this. Where is it? And over time, It's getting tighter and tighter in your chest, and you keep looking into the same place again and again. Where is it? This thing that I know, this thing that I have, and you can't find it. And an hour later, you're just beside yourself, right? There's just everything about how you would move forward in the world is missing. And then you find your keys or your wallet or your phone, and there you are. Where does that sudden uprush of energy come from? It was in you. It went down, it went down, it went down, it went down, and then it was back. And really nothing about your external circumstance changed except that you found your keys. Or perhaps you got a great text message from someone. You felt really lousy, and someone writes back and says, hey, I was thinking of you. All of a sudden, there's this uprush of energy. Where did it come from? You have a phenomenal amount of energy inside of you, and it doesn't come from food, and it doesn't come from sleep. This energy is always available to you. At any moment, you can draw upon it, and it wells up and fills you from inside. And when you're filled with this energy, you feel like you could take on the world. When it's flowing strongly, you can actually feel it coursing through you in waves. It gushes up spontaneously from inside. It restores, replenishes, and recharges you. That's exactly what we're cultivating. If we can remove what's in our way, if we can make some possible momentum, if we can flavor that momentum with the hint of who we want to be, this energy is always in us. We're creating a connection and a relationship with it. The only reason you don't feel this energy all the time is because you block it. You block it by closing your heart, by closing your mind, and by pulling yourself into a restrictive space inside. This closes you off from all the energy. When you close your heart or you close your mind, you hide in the darkness within you, and there is no light, and there is no energy, and there is nothing flowing. The energy is still there, but it can't get in or out. Removing the body blocks, my loves, right? Nicole, you got to listen to this, replay this. So this is what it means to be blocked. This is why you have no energy when you're depressed. There are centers within that channel of your energy flow. When you close them, there is no energy. When you open them, there is. Although various energy centers exist within you, the one you intuitively know the most about opening and closing is your heart. Let's say that you love someone and you feel very open in their presence. And because you trust them, the walls come down, allowing you to feel lots of high energy. But if they do something you don't like, the next time you see them, you don't feel so high. You don't feel as much love. Instead, you feel a little tightness in your chest. And this happens because you closed your heart. The heart is an energy center, and it can open or it can close. The yogis call energy centers chakras. Yes, we do. When you close your heart center, energy can't flow in or out. When energy can't flow in, there's darkness. Depending on how closed you are, or either if you feel tremendous disturbance or overwhelming lethargy, this determines how opened or closed we feel. People often fluctuate between these two states. So how many times have you experienced these dynamics in your life? That you have a wellspring of beautiful energy inside of you. When you're open, you feel it. And when you're closed, you don't. Sometimes it can be that you get up, you set yourself into a great state, you love the place where you live, you love the start of your day, and then you go to your job, and it closes. And that question is, where did all that amazing energy go? These are exactly the almost energetic valves that we're addressing in this sequence and in this practice. Unblocking, removing body blocks, removing the way in which I'm holding on, right? So when my sibling might yell at me, like I know this, I'm sort of protecting. One shoulder comes up, I back off. My body is energetically closing, right? And I have a history of that closure. And so every movement that we're making is trying to release the block so that our energy can come in and out, because it is infinite and it is inside of us. You should know all about this energy because it's yours. It is your birthright and it is unlimited. You can call upon it anytime you want. It has nothing to do with age. Some 80-year-old people have the energy and the enthusiasm of a child. They can work long hours, and it's just energy. Energy doesn't age, and it doesn't fatigue, and it doesn't need food, and it doesn't need context. What it needs is openness and receptivity. This energy is equally available to everyone. The sun does not shine differently on different people. If you're good, it shines on you. If you did something bad, it shines on you. It's the same with inner energy. The only difference is that the inner energy, you have the ability to close and to lock and to block it. And when you close, the energy stops flowing. Okay? When you open, all the energy rushes up inside of you. And true spiritual teachings are about this energy and how to open it. And that's what we are doing. We're moving through. Each sequence of each month is opening different aspects of us in different order. Maybe this one works for us, or maybe the next one works. Next month in June, we will be focusing on the energy of the heart, your strongest electromagnetic center. This is how we will reemerge as our lives return. And as we make new choices, we want to take with us this new state of divine energy. Right? The only thing you have to know is that opening allows energy in and closing blocks it out. Now you have to decide whether or not you want the energy. How high do you want to get? How much love do you want to feel? How much enthusiasm do you want to have for the things that you do? If enjoying a full life means experiencing high energy, love, enthusiasm all the time, then don't close. And there's a very simple method to stay open. You stay open by not closing. It's that simple. All you have to do is decide whether or not you're willing to stay open, or whether you think it's worth closing. You actually train yourself to forget how to close. Closing is a habit, and like any other habit, it can be broken. For example, you could be the type of person who has an underlying fear of people and tends to close when you first meet them. You could actually be in the habit of experiencing an uptight closing sensation whenever someone walks to you. Train yourself to do the opposite. Train yourself to open when you see a person. It's a question of whether you want to open or whether you want to close. It's entirely in your control. The problem is we don't exercise that control. Under normal circumstances, our state of openness is less left to psychological factors. Basically, we open or close based on past experience. This feels safe to me. This feels like a good experience. I'm open to it. That looks familiar. That's happened in the past, and I know it didn't work out, so I'm already closing to it. One of the wonderful things about our practice is it's really often quite unfamiliar. We're moving in ways that may not have a past. They're just unfamiliar. And so we become comfortable by practicing again and again a sensation of this unfamiliarity until it becomes our own. And so as we practice anything in Kundalini, maybe we have our hands up overhead. We're like, what are we doing, right? Open in the state when it's unfamiliar. And then secondly, we stay there, and the staying creates challenge. The challenge creates intensity. And for most of us, we have a response to intensity that says, this is difficult, it hurts, I don't like it. And those three combine into closure. This conversation is difficult. This new job, it's difficult. This run that I chose to take, it's difficult and it's getting harder, and I'm going to close. And as I close, what happens to my energy? That infinite source that could be carrying me forward is closed off. So Michael Singer is saying we need to train ourselves, and this is exactly what we are doing when we do these Kundalini sets. We're moving in a way that's creating fluidity. We're flushing our circulation into new aspects of the body very, very specifically, very wisely. We're building a muscular structure that keeps us upright and broad so that our physical body is set up to create a neurochemical experience that says, this is possible, I am present, because there's a relationship between the structure of your body and the state of your mind. And we are building the strength of body to sit up tall, to hold our chest open, and keep our minds available to an infinite source of energy. We good? If you have questions, I can see your questions. I'm going to motor on a wee bit more because it gets better. We are programmed based on our past impressions, so that all kinds of things cause us to open and close. And marketing and entertainment and technology are very much designed around our past experiences, what opens us and what closes us. You know, if you had these shoes, I think you would feel a lot better, right? These shoes will help open you. And so we buy things. Or, how many likes do I have? Oh, there are more likes. I'm opening. There are fewer likes. I'm closing. This stickiness, right, that we experience, these numbers are so challenging to me as a teacher, to watch likes for me or likes, and then I can compare. Now we have a statistic of how many likes I have versus how many likes you have. I love Liz's Instagram, and I love Liz's Instagram more than I love mine. And I can set Liz's visual, technologically polished version of her life next to my life, and I can close myself. This does not serve me. It does not serve anyone else, because our energy is also a source of energy for other people. We are wildly contagious. We are wildly influential. So when I close my energy because I have fewer likes than someone else, I'm losing an aspect of beauty that I could be bringing, an aspect of power, an aspect of reclamation. When we stay hands over head, circling 4 minutes, I want you to close your eyes, and for the full second half of this month, you begin to build a muscle of staying. And as you can, stay open, because it's in the opening that we have energy. And staying open means going through that place of intensity. Staying open means adjusting your situation so that you're not closing because it's simply too physically difficult. I can't do that exercise with 10-pound weights over my head. It would be awful. So I don't use weights, right? But maybe straight arms is too much, so I bend my arms. Maybe I simply move my hands. Adjust your life so that you can stay open. Reclaim your choices so that you feel delightful. No one else can give you pleasure, delight, or ease. And all these things will create an opening and access to infinite energy. The other thing that gets in your way when you're staying in emotion, in a posture, is boredom. At first, it's great. At first, we're paying attention. And then there's a place where it's just not that interesting anymore. And in that, I want you to crack yourself up and go, oh, look at me. I get bored. That's fantastic. And come back in. And come back in. This is an opportunity in these sequences, in this practice, in this single hour of your day, to train yourself to stay open. And in that opening, to stay in a source of infinite energy. And in that infinite energy is health, finances, work, relationship, family, studies, intelligence, adventure, and self. Right? Make a commitment to explore your capacity for receiving unlimited energy. Simply decide, am I open or am I closed? Closing your heart does not protect you from anything, but it does cut you off from your source of energy. And I want to cry when I read that aloud. Okay? Closing your heart does not protect you from anything, but it does cut you off from your source of energy. What you'll find is that the only thing you really want from life is to feel enthusiasm, joy, and love. If you can feel that all the time, then who cares what happens on the outside? No matter what your experience is, it's beautiful on the way you feel on the inside. You learn to stay open no matter what happens. How you learn to stay open is up to you. I would say how we learn to open is we continue to come to practice. Goodbye, my love. Have a great ride. Do not let anything that happens in your life be important enough that you're willing to close your heart over it. When your heart starts to close, say, no, I'm not going to close. I'm going to let this situation take place and be with it. Honor and respect the situation and deal with it. By all means, deal with it. Do the best you can, but deal with it with openness. Deal with it with as much enthusiasm as you can muster. No matter what it is, let it be the sport of the day. Keep your heart open, Lupa. You will embrace your life with all your heart and soul. Your energy level will be phenomenal, and you will have the energy that you need at all times. You are only limited by your ability to stay open. Hi, Mama. And so what we are doing, what we are building as we practice is the ability to stay open, because when we hear this makes sense to us. We know the temptations to close and to feel so-called safe in ourselves away from feeling. We are only limited by our ability to stay open, but we are not trained in opening. We are not trained in opening. And so when we come to the practice, we're training ourselves to stay in what's difficult. Because if we stay in what's difficult, the challenge, the discomfort, it becomes intense. And what I'm learning, decades of this practice, I'm finally to the place where I'm like, oh, look, it's getting harder. And the harder place has a challenge. The challenge has intensity. The intensity holds light. And I can receive the light of the challenge instead of the darkness of closing away. So a little at a time, a practice at a time, we learn to stay through the boredom. We learn to stay through the difficulty, not out of force. We adjust ourselves. We adjust our response. We adjust our setting. Maybe we sit in the chair. That's why I gave the example today. And Adam sat in the chair. He's like, I'm not going to sit in the chair. The chair is for people that can't do it right. I said, I'm going to sit in the chair because I think it works really well. So he sat in the chair. And when he finished, he was so full of energy. And he had simply closed because he said, this is difficult. And if I make a modification, I'm cheating somehow. And I'm less manly. I'm like, man up and sit in your chair, man. And all of the openings will come through. And your seat, your gut, your heart, and your head will be in divine alignment. And all of a sudden, there'll be a source of energy that you never knew. Yeah. And so he did. And he finished. And he was like, wow, that was fantastic. Right? Our past has patterned us to close or to open. And maybe your past says, no, I can't make modifications. I can't turn down. the level of intensity on my schedule, right? I need to teach from home. I need to get out of my car for many reasons. I need to teach from home, and I'm terrified, and I'm shutting myself off of this. That from Monday through Friday, I will teach here. And then on the weekends, we will gather and we will be in the studio, and this will be phenomenal. But every once in a while, I get so scared and I close, and then I'm alone. And I'm alone in the dark, and I don't have any energy. And I begin to breathe, and I begin to move. Simplest movements. Simplest movements. And I begin to return. This is our practice. This is what we're teaching. Wee bit more love. Your energy is your choice. And you can choose to close because you don't like what's happening, or you can keep feeling love and enthusiasm by not closing. As long as you define what you like and what you don't like, you will open and you will close. I like this. This is great. I don't like this anymore. Now I'm closing. We go up and down. And that means that we allow ourselves energy, and then we separate from the energy. Watch this in your mind. As we practice, this is what we're making, is a powerful reconnection to choice, and in the choice to staying open, and in the open to beauty, and in the beauty to love and connection. Notice when you allow your mind to create triggers that open and close you. And dare yourself to enjoy all of life. And dare yourself by starting out to enjoy all of 3 minutes with your hands overhead. Because sometimes we can be in a place of deep darkness, and that this just seems completely out of reach. Or we are grieving, or we are healing, and that takes all our energy. And so my offer to you is to start a minute at a time, 3 minutes at a time, and then pause and feel the change. And then try something else, a minute or two, and feel the change. This is exactly what the practice is teaching us to do. It doesn't say you have to feel this all the time. It doesn't say you have to know how to be open all the time. But it does give us a place to practice. It does give us tools and muscles and forgiveness and rest so that we can continue to open. Because that's where we're powerful. Because that's where our light lives. What's more, you can actually feel waves of energy pour through you, flow off your hands, out your heart, through your body. As your energy centers open, a tremendous amount of energy starts flowing through you. And what's amazing is if you are listening to me right now, it's likely because you've practiced with me, and we can honestly have not an intellectual understanding of this, but a physiological experience. And that experience becomes our new truth about I am light and I am beauty. I know. This energy affects other people. People pick up on your energy. You feed them with this flow, and they feed you with theirs. So let yours be strong enough to hold you safely. If you're willing to open more, this will never stop, and you will become a source of light for those around you. And this is honestly my greatest aspiration. May this be true. May I offer us everything I can. Stay open, stay possible, and lead us forward. You can affect the health of your body with your energy flow. When you are open, you bring energy to your system and you can heal. The most important thing in your life is your inner energy. Hi, girl. Remember, if you love life, nothing is worth closing over. Nothing is ever worth closing your heart over. Okay? That was chapter 5. Next week, gosh. Next week, chapter 6. Okay? Share this, especially with people you know who are stuck or alone or who are in the dark and don't know how to begin to return. Bring them to practice. Bring us all to practice. I don't know how to do this better, but a little bit at a time, I can grow stronger. I can stay. I can open and close again and again, and at least I can begin to notice it. There are so many people in our lives who need a little more light. They're so hungry. It's not in the food. We can make this. So share this with them. Send them the book. Read the book. That was chapter 5. We'll do 6 next week and 7 after that, because we are unblocking the body. I'm so grateful for you. So grateful. I will see you next week, and I will see you next Sunday for chapter 6. Replay it. Share it out. This is how we lead each other forward. Thank you, my loves. Sat Nam. Namaste.